The year was 1969. I was an 8-year-old kid at a local indoor community swimming pool. What happened to me there one day changed the course of my life, and I believe led me to become the woodworker that I am today. I know that sounds crazy. I'll tie all that in here in a second, but first, for those of you who just joined the channel or seen this video for the first time, my name's Ronnie. I'm a retired letter carrier. I'm in my early 60s. I only got into woodworking a few years ago. I started building and selling furniture on Facebook Marketplace. I've sold dozens of pieces since then. I started this channel to help and encourage those of you who have a desire to do the same thing, to show you it's never too late to start. You just got to take action. I have videos on how to build items. I have videos on how I sell them. So there's no excuse for you not to go through and do it. Now let's get back to the swimming pool incident. So I'm 8 years old, a bunch of us kids were standing there on the side of the pool, and you know, they have a low dive and a high dive. Well, a lot of the kids were climbing up the stairs to the high dive and climbing out on that board and jumping off. And I really wanted to do it, but I was scared. I was really scared. It felt like I was the only one who had not done it yet. All the kids were encouraging me, trying to get me to go up there. From what I remember, they really weren't bullying or you know, just encouraging, right? So I finally got the courage to climb up those stairs. And I think the high dive, I mean, it seemed so high back then, but I think it was probably 10 or 12 feet up above the water maybe. So I climb the stairs, I get to the top, and that water seems so far down below. So I take a few steps toward the board, and then I chickened out. I turned around to climb down the stairs. There were kids all up and down the stairs waiting for their turn, so they had to lean over to one side as I'm shamefully climbing down the stairs and standing back down below, watching kids jump. Now, I don't remember how much time was in between or what was said, but I do remember deciding that I was going to try it again. So climb back up, step out on the board. This time I found myself walking to the end of the board, and I'm looking down and I'm scared. The water's down there far below. Finally, I took a step out, went down feet first, plugged my nose, crashed into the water, splashed in the water, felt like crashing, and came up to a bunch of cheers. All the kids were cheering that I had actually done it. And to tie that in to becoming a woodworker is that I faced my fears that day. I wanted to do something, right? But fear was holding me back. But then I decided to overcome fear and take that leap of faith. That leap, literal leap, metaphorically a leap of faith. And it showed me that my fear was much more exaggerated than reality in that case. And so that gave me the confidence as I've lived my life and as new things come up, new passions I want to try, to be able to deal with that fear and be able to attempt what I want to attempt. So here's kind of what I thought up a metaphor or analogy, whatever you want to call it, for fear. So let's say you're in your car and you're driving down the road toward your destination, and then something blocks your road. Let's say it's a big bad dude, right? Or a monster, whatever you want to call it. It's blocking your way and you can't go any further. So you either stop, you turn around and go the other way, but this thing isn't going to move. So you got to get out, you got to be brave enough, walk up, grab its arm. Now, you're not going to be able to leave him on the side of the road and then get back in the car usually and take off. You're going to probably have to put him in the passenger seat. So you put him in the passenger seat, and now your way is open and you can drive on through to your goal. Now, the next time you want to take that trip, let's say you want to do the same goal but something different, or maybe even a different goal. You're going to see that guy again, but this time he's going to know your car. And rather than making you get out of the car and go drag him in, he's going to walk on over to the passenger door. You're going to open it up. and he's going to jump in because he knows the routine. He knows that he's not as big and bad as he was hoping to make you feel. So he jumps in and you drive off. Now, the fear is always there, right? It's always going to be there, but it's diminished now. You're able to deal with it a little bit better. So hopefully, time after time, you're going to develop a routine where you don't even have to stop. He'll just jump in a moving car. Maybe he jumps in the trunk. Maybe for a few of you, he's not even there. You're just bold enough to power through and not even worry about fear. But for most of us, I think a little bit of fear is always going to be there. But you gain confidence every time you put him in the seat, put him in the back, whatever. So that's the first thing. The first thing blocking your way, right, is fear. Fear of the unknown. You can be, let's say it's with woodworking or selling. Let's apply it to that. So let's say you're thinking of building something, but you're afraid you're going to make mistakes. You're afraid people aren't going to like it. You're afraid it won't be good enough, right? And then let's say you build one and you think you want to try to sell it. Well, that's going to even be more compounded because now you're asking strangers to give up their money for something that you built. And those thoughts are going to be even more prevalent in your mind. So here's my advice. I actually have a comment from a viewer that deals with this. I want to read it to you real quick. Just some highlights of it because I thought it was beautiful. I asked Jack if I could use this comment on a video, and I thought this would be the perfect video to do it. So Jack says, I commented before on a similar post from Ronnie's workshop. I think it was fear of failure and my own mind thinking it had to be absolutely perfect before anyone would buy. That's the first part of the statement. That was my experience, and I imagine it's probably a lot of you guys' experience too, was just, is it going to be good enough? What are people going to think? He says, I've since made and sold a number of planners and have been asked by customers to make other items. Now that's a key point there. Once you get past that fear and you get confidence, not only what you build and sell is going to be your staple, but you're going to get people to ask you to build other things. They might send you a picture on Pinterest or something to ask you if you build this or a different size of what you sold them. Or friends of theirs are going to contact you. That's just reality. That's going to happen. I made lots of mistakes. Let's see if I can find it. I made lots of mistakes during my builds and learned so much more as a result. You're going to make mistakes. That's another key point, is if you think, if fear of mistakes is holding you back, just embrace it. You're going to make mistakes. I've said before, mistakes are just learning experiences, learning what not to do. I just hope and wish that I could convince you guys just to take that on. Picture, now this is going to get crazy, but picture like a toddler is starting to learn how to walk. And as adults, we just are proud to see little ones get up and start to walk, right? So they get up, they stumble and they fall. This mistake and they're walking. We don't berate them. They don't berate themselves. Those kids get up and keep trying. I wish we were more like little kids. We fall down, we make a mistake. Don't worry about it. You know what not to do next time. Get up and do it. Going on, he says, so he makes the product even more better now than he did when he started out, which is also natural. I only wish I could work a bit faster. Time is definitely an issue. Being organized helps, that's true. So here's one. Once I sold the first one, my confidence was there. Just have to make it through the uncertainty before. I hope this helps someone on the fence. Jack, I appreciate you letting me use this comment. And folks, you guys, you viewers, you're of all ages. On my YouTube stats, I look and I see it's equally spread out from like mid-20s all the way to 60 plus. It's pretty much equally spread out. Most of you are guys, but you're of all levels too. There's beginners that haven't built anything. There's guys that are doing kind of what I'm doing at my level, and there's guys that have way more experience than me and don't need my teaching to show them what to do, but they could use my motivation and my encouragement. And I think that's what I want to try to set myself apart as a channel with. So whatever your age, it's never too late. I'm a living example. It's not like, hey, look at me, look what I do. It's more like, look at me, look what you can do. Because this guy in his early 60s, just starting out a few years ago, you know, hopefully shows you that you can do the same thing. But it's a matter of learning. You got to watch all kinds of videos. That's how I did it in a way. You watch a bunch of YouTube videos, you gain the knowledge, you gain some idea of what you want to build. And if you want to get into the selling part, you can do that too, but you have all the knowledge, and then comes the step of applying that knowledge, and that means taking action. So if that means for you, you got to buy that first tool, go buy that first tool, figure out what kind of woodworking you want to do and get the tool that will help you out the most. If it means trying to sell it, then that's going to be a leap right there. Let's say you want to do it through Facebook Marketplace, you got to take all the pictures. I got videos on that too. You got to figure out what to put in your ad. I can help you there, but you got to take action. Action is the key. In action, you're guaranteed not to reach your goal. But with action, you increase your chances dramatically. And it's not guaranteed. Nothing in life is guaranteed, but it really increases your odds dramatically. So you got to take action, embrace the mistakes, like I said, realize the fear is going to be there. It's just how you deal with it. Put it in the passenger seat and move on. And then once you do that and you build and you sell your first piece, since you made it this far in the video, I want you to send me a message, comment on this video. Let me know what you've built. Let me know if this video encouraged you, motivated you to, okay, I'm going to place that first ad. I'm going to go ahead and build that first piece, whatever it is. And it doesn't even have to be woodworking. It's whatever you want to try. I love trying new things. That night at that swimming pool when I was 8 years old, I'm convinced that, and I always think about that because that's where my first leap of faith and dealing with fear, that's where it started. As early that I can remember, was taking that first leap off that high dive. And then since then, not being too afraid to try other things. Still having some fear there sometimes, but not being too afraid. Guys, I hope this helped encourage you. I'm going to put videos in the links. Build your first piece of furniture if you haven't built. Check out the playlist on selling on Facebook Marketplace. Consider subscribing if you want to get notified on more videos that come out. But I appreciate you guys watching. You regular guys, thanks again, Jack, for allowing me to post this comment in this video. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next video.